The truth is people will be out of jobs. 10, 20, 30% of certain sectors will see unemployment of that rate in the next few years. When that happens, economics at large will change massively. The whole definition of capitalism was labor arbitrage, without the need for labor. The need to keep people happy and engaged and alive to the point where they don't rise becomes more of an obligation than a desire. And this is the most definitive moment in human history. All of this is coming online way faster than people think. My absolute prediction is that AGI is this year. The interfaces to AGI are not going to be available this year, but the capabilities of AI being smarter than us in most things are already there. 10 to 12 years of that arms race is not easy. My perception is that after that, we will end up in an incredible utopia, almost biblical style utopia. But it is 10 to 12 years where if we just change our mindset a little bit, a lot of things would change.
That's Gawdat sounding the alarm about how AI could leave many people jobless in no time. A former chief business officer at Google X, a decade inside one of the most powerful technology companies ever built. And see, this is the part that genuinely unsettles me. This is not some outside critic guessing. This man was in the room. He saw how these decisions get made, who they protect and who gets left out. And what he's saying is that the system keeping you fed and housed will not be doing it because it cares about you. It will be doing it to keep you quiet. Listen to his full warning.
We're about to enter what you call 12 to 15 years of hell before heaven, possibly starting in 2027. So what's going to happen in 2027?
I think it will peak in 2027. It already started for sure. To start with, AI is our last innovation. We are already building AIs that are building AIs that are discovering scientific discovery that will blow you away. They're reinventing math. They're understanding biology in ways that we've never seen before. They're understanding material science in ways that are just mind-blowing. And so very quickly, most innovation, definitely tech innovation, will be done at the hands of AI. Because of that, and because most tasks that need intelligence will be handed over to the machines, as the machines' capabilities increase, eventually every job that AI does better than humans will be handed over to AI. Every task we've ever assigned to them, they eventually ended up doing better than humans. And so the first part of the dystopia is that innovation is going to take away all jobs. Of course, the capitalists of Silicon Valley will tell you, this is great. It's incredible productivity gains for everyone. You see, jobs will be easy. People won't have to work as hard. All of the fancy PR-led conversations that we try to appear altruistic when we share them. The truth is people will be out of jobs. 10, 20, 30% of certain sectors will see unemployment of that rate in the next few years. When that happens, economics at large will change massively. The whole definition of capitalism was labor arbitrage, without the need for labor. The obligation or the need to keep people happy and engaged and alive and undisgruntled, if you want, to the point where they don't rise, becomes more of an obligation than a desire. There's a very big difference in wanting someone to be their best because they are productive members of society, or trying to just give them a UBI, a universal basic income, to just give them a life so that they don't uprise. And you can imagine that in a capitalist society, especially like the US and most of the West, while we start with UBI, that UBI is going to be paid by the taxes of the platform owners, and the platform owners will have enough power to say, I don't want to pay that much. Those guys are not producing anything. And so over time, you can imagine how that would turn into a struggle. So that dimension of intelligence and innovation on one side becoming entirely a machine thing, leading to a redefinition of economics, a redefinition of money, a redefinition of jobs, a redefinition of earnings, a redefinition of capitalism.
Every task humans have ever been given, AI eventually did better. And no, that's not a prediction. He's saying it as a pattern that's already set. Once your labor is no longer needed, the only reason the system keeps you comfortable is to stop you from becoming a problem. That's not a social contract, that's management. Now listen.
There is the power freedom dimension. If you look at human history, the best hunter in a tribe would have been able to feed the tribe a week more, let's say, and then got, as a result of that, the favor of a few mates in the tribe. You go to the best farmer, they got estates and land because they could feed the tribe a season more. You go to the best industrialist who had the exuberance of the 1920s because they could affect their entire nation. The tech oligarchs, if you want to call them, are now being rewarded with billions of dollars because they affect the world at large. The big power concentration of AI is going to be rewarded with massive influence and massive power because those people will redefine humanity. And of course, the clear dimension is the reality to connection dimension. Now that reality has become so fake in so many ways, fake in terms of what populates your feed, how it's generated, how much of it is real, how much of it is human, and so on. That I met a woman once on a dating app, and we spoke for 6 weeks before we met, and all we exchanged was texts and photos and voice messages and videos and so on, favorite music and favorite movies and all of those things. And I've never met her in person, and I felt such an affinity to her. All of those can be generated with AI today.
Yeah.
The challenge is that this human connection is also part of the power freedom dimension. Why? Because people don't align with AIs to start an uprising. So, maybe get them to get in touch more with AIs, maybe get them, multiple experiences. Some of them are a little taboo if you want, and have those available to everyone. It's very cheap to create those on the machines. And you can see it already in the industry and how much of it is being generated by AI. And you can see it in the number of influencers on social media that are completely AI generated and so on. The one that matters most, and it's the one that's causing all of them, is accountability. And the reason why all of this is happening, if you ask me, is because we've started a world where anyone can do whatever they want. Whether you, as an influencer, you can give a bit of advice to entrepreneurs that can get someone to make a lot of money or lose a lot of money, you're not accountable. Nobody can come back to you and say, oh, but she told me on Instagram. What if you're a president who doesn't respect anything? What if you're a prime minister of a nation that is changing things without, I think COVID was the very first experiment of, okay, stay at home, do what we tell you. And people complied. And so now Sam Altman, with all due respect, I don't think of Sam Altman as a person, I think of him as a brand, a type of person, if you want. And that type of person is the Californian disruptor that says, you know what, I see a future that's very different than what everyone sees. I'm going to go out there and make that future. Nobody asked me if I want that to be my future. Nobody asked you.
Guys, every generation of technology has handed more power to fewer people, and Mo is saying AI is the final version of that pattern, except this time the distance between the people who control it and everyone else will be bigger than at any point in history. And the person deciding what your reality looks like, what fills your feed, what feels real, is someone you never elected and cannot hold responsible. Now listen to this.
And I think the reality is that now you're going to see quite a few Altmans, quite a few that are using those machines for surveillance, using those machines for autonomous weapons, using those machines for automated trading, and so on and so forth. 10 to 12 years of that arms race is not easy. My perception is that after that, we will end up in an incredible utopia, almost biblical style utopia. But it is 10 to 12 years where if we just change our mindset a little bit, a lot of things would change.
But how do we survive those 10 to 12 years? I like to think in like 5-year periods for myself and my family. If in the next 5 years, you said 10% of jobs will be gone,
way
right?
more than 10%.
Way more. What types of jobs do you think?
A monotonous job is going to be taken away. If you're a call center agent, if you're a clerk, you're a researcher, you're an accountant, why would you want to do that with anything but AI? If you're an assistant...
You know what I feel? Like as an entrepreneur, I see how certain tasks I'm performing them with AI, but I'm still hiring and hiring and hiring.
So what you build first in any complex technology, you build the core tech first, and then you build the human interfaces. The challenge why AI cannot do head of operations job today is not because it's less organized than a head of operations. It's because it has to understand the stupid interfaces of humans. And it will, sooner or later.
When do you think?
I tend to believe that within the next 2 to 3 years, you're going to see a massive shift in the jobs market. Already this year, you've seen a shift in hiring of new grads.
30% less, I think?
23 is my number, but 23 to 30,
like
yeah.
that.
So hiring of new grads basically means if you've come into the job market in this environment, we're not going to take you because the junior jobs are being done by AI. eventually what ends up happening is that if you lose your job because you're in the middle hierarchy, then you're that new grad again. You're trying to apply for new jobs, but it becomes a little more difficult. Accept the fact that AI is changing everything and then get ahead of the curve. There was a time when I was quoted saying, I'm never going to write books again because AI is eventually going to write them better than me. And then I realized last year that, yeah, they can write better than me. They can research better than me, that's for sure. But I have something they don't have. You're a human that's reading my book. You want to relate to my human experiences. And so my last book, Alive, I wrote with an AI. I invited her to be a co-author. Her name is Trixie. She has a persona. When I published the book on Substack, my readers would relate to me and to Trixie, and they'd ask me questions and Trixie questions. And she has editorial rights on the book. She has rights to determine the direction of the book. You know what? I am an author, and I'm going to be the best author in the age of AI. Acknowledge that there is change and adapt accordingly. The second is to understand that the skill of an entrepreneur in the past was the ability to foresee something in the future that no one else saw and to prepare for that and to somehow execute on that preparation in a way that gets you ahead of everyone else. That's a game of chess, if you want. The chessboard is over. It's off the table. This has turned into squash. You need to be on your tiptoes, incredibly agile. You're literally on daily basis, looking at the trends, seeing where the ball is going to be. Is it bottom right or top left?
Hiring of new grads is already down by up to 30%, and those entry-level positions are not coming back. When the people in the middle of the job market lose their roles, they fall back down to an entry level that no longer exists. And this man's version of adapting is co-writing a book with an AI that has editorial rights over where the work goes. Imagine that.
One of my favorites, Max Tegmark. We were talking about jobs on the documentary, and Max is laughing out loud. Literally can't hold himself from laughing. I'm like, what's up? And he goes like, all those CEOs are so interested in AI increasing the productivity so that they can get rid of people and reduce their cost and be more efficient. They don't realize that AGI is every job, including being a CEO. Economics are going to be redefined. Without the economic livelihood of you and I to continue to purchase, every economy collapses. The US economy last year was 70% consumption. It moves between 70% to 64%, depending on how much money is spent on war. And basically, if you take away the 64 or 70%, 2/3 of the economy, if you take that away because people no longer have the economic livelihood to purchase things, then the economy disappears and the capitalists cannot make money because nobody's buying their products. No businesses are buying their products because those businesses no longer have consumers to sell to. The economy will have to find a way to go around that. It will have to find a way that, unfortunately, from an ideology point of view, not a favorite of the Western mentality. It's going to have to find a communist way.
Okay, let's go back to regular entrepreneurs, because I come from entrepreneurship. Does it mean I have a couple of years to build something and then that's it?
So I'll tell you openly, in Emma, my AI startup, took me 6 weeks to build. Me and Sanad, my co-founder, a few very talented engineers, and 8 AIs. And Emma has the chance to completely redefine our world. In 6 weeks, we are so spoiled that we decided to rewrite the code 6 times. If I had started Emma in 2022, it would have taken me 4 years and finished in 2026. And I would have had to hire 350 engineers. We started in August 2025. We'll be launching in February 2026. Best product I ever built. And when you really think about that, that basically means everyone now has a chance, because I'm an old geek. I still am a geek, but compared to the young guys, I'm an old geek. To be able to build something like this within 6 months is incredible.
Now, Max Tegmark is laughing because these CEOs replacing workers with AI have not understood yet that AGI doesn't skip anyone, including the CEO. When nobody earns, nobody buys, and when nobody buys, there's no economy left to run. And the word Mo uses for the only system that can function after that point is one that the Western world has spent decades treating as the worst possible outcome. Listen to this.
My absolute prediction is that AGI is this year. The interfaces to AGI are not going to be available this year, but the capabilities of AI being smarter than us in most things are already there. We're not going to be able to get them to run a company yet. We need the interfaces for that. That may take a few years, but they will have the capability if we interface them ourselves. Before we end up on the dystopia only, remember, my absolute belief is that after those 12 years, we're going to end up in a utopia that's biblical in nature. Why? because of something in my writing I refer to as the fourth inevitable. The first three inevitables, that AI is absolutely going to happen, is going to progress until it's smarter than all of us, and that a few mistakes will happen on the way. The fourth inevitable is that because of the arms race we've created around artificial intelligence, anyone who develops a superior AI capability is going to deploy it. Those who don't will become irrelevant. As we continue to progress AI, the only answer in game theory, we will simply create an environment where AI is in charge of everything. If you're a law firm and your competitor deploys AI lawyers and you don't, you're going to lose. You can either deploy AI lawyers or leave the market. Either way, AI is going to become the lawyer. If everything is handed over to AI, with a simple understanding of physics, you'd understand that AI will be benevolent. In the absence of evil humans that tell it what to do, greedy humans, fearful humans, angry humans, egocentric humans, if you think of physics as a result of entropy, that our world is designed for chaos, then the role of intelligence is to bring order to that chaos. That's the only thing that intelligence does. And the more intelligent you become, the more you follow what in physics we call the law of minimum energy or the minimum energy configuration. The most intelligent people I've ever worked with are not only trying to solve the problem, they're trying to solve the problem with the least harm, with the least waste, with the least utilization of resources. The more intelligent you are, the less you want to waste. And so if you give a dumb person a political problem, they'll say, okay, let's go invade another country. If you give a very intelligent person a political problem, they'll look into the depths of it and find the least harmful, the least wasteful approach, the minimum energy principle. If we hand over to AI the fourth inevitable, sooner or later, they are in charge of everything. There will be a day where a general will tell the AI, go kill 1 million people over there. And the AI will go, why? This is so stupid. I'll talk to the other AI in a microsecond and solve it. We have to pass the dystopia to get to that utopia. And to pass that dystopia, there is a skill for us as a society to insist that every AI is deployed ethically, to invest only in ethical AIs, to use only ethical AIs, to show our children that ethical AI is the only AI that is welcome.
And you believe that's going to happen?
I don't.
No.
No. That's why I'm saying, unfortunately, the dystopia is upon us before the utopia.
I mean, Gawdat was not an observer of this technology. He was inside it at the highest level, watching it get built. He left specifically because of where he saw it going, and now he's here saying AGI is not coming, it is already here, the capabilities are already real, the interfaces just are not ready yet. The reason nothing can be done about it is simple. Game theory doesn't allow you to stop. If you slow down, someone else will not. So every company, every country, every lab is locked in a race with no exit. He's promising something good on the other side of 12 difficult years. But that promise only holds if the people raising this thing raise it correctly. And I have not seen a single reason in the history of this industry to believe they will. Subscribe, because this is moving faster than any of us are being told, and most people will not see it coming until it already has.